Welcome to the weekly digital health podcast by White Coat Hackers Media. This is where biotech breakthroughs, biomedical innovation, and the future of digital health come to life. Tune in because the future of health starts here.
Welcome to the White Coat Hackers Weekly Digital Health Podcast.
Great to be here.
We're diving deep again this week, looking at some really significant digital health news that's popped up.
Yeah, some fascinating stuff.
We've pulled together the key developments, and our aim is really to unpack what they mean, for healthcare and for you listening.
Absolutely. And what's really jumping out this week is how different pieces of the puzzle are clicking together. Tech is getting, much more sophisticated in healthcare.
Right.
We're seeing pushes for better answers on treatments, making sure AI is actually safe for healthcare, and new digital approaches for tough conditions like chronic pain.
Okay, let's start with that first one, getting better answers. There's this big news about Datavant acquiring Aetion. Datavant connects, over 70,000 hospitals?
Yeah, a massive network. And Aetion, they're the experts in real-world evidence, or RWE.
So why bring these two together? What's the big deal?
Well, think about it. Clinical trials are crucial, right? But they're super controlled.
Okay.
RWE is about what happens out in the real world with real patients.
Okay.
Aetion already does a lot of work with pharma, device makers, payers, regulators, helping them understand that real-world impact.
Mm-hmm.
By teaming up with Datavant, the idea is to build this end-to-end RWE platform, something much more powerful to get those insights faster.
So it's not just a merger, it's about accelerating understanding.
Exactly. It could seriously speed up how we figure out what treatments really work best for actual patients day to day.
So how do their strengths combine, practically speaking?
Well, Datavant is really good at connecting all this disparate health data, linking it up while keeping it private. That's key.
Right.
And Aetion brings the smarts, the analytics, to actually make sense of all that linked data, figuring out the impact of therapies.
So together they can offer the whole package.
Yeah.
From finding the data to analyzing it.
Precisely. For life sciences, for healthcare companies, helping answer those critical questions about effectiveness, whether a drug's in development or already out there.
I saw a mention of something called Datavant Connect and AWS clean rooms. Sounds technical.
It is a bit, but the concept is important. Think of AWS clean rooms as these secure digital environments. Datavant Connect uses them.
Okay.
It lets researchers kind of query and analyze different data sets together without everyone having to share all their raw, sensitive data directly. It protects privacy.
Like a protected space to collaborate on data.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And Aetion's tools will plug into this, making it easier to find the right data, check privacy, and then actually get the data sets and analytics tools you need.
And making Aetion available on the AWS marketplace. So that just makes it easier to access.
Yeah. Lowers the barrier to entry for organizations wanting to use these RWE tools within that secure AWS environment.
So boiling it down for someone listening, why should they pay attention to this?
Because fundamentally, this could mean getting clearer answers about which treatments work best in the real world much faster. And that could translate to you getting access to better, more effective therapies sooner.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's shift over to AI in healthcare, always a hot topic. OpenAI, the ChatGPT folks, have launched something called HealthBench.
Right, HealthBench. This is tackling a really fundamental issue. How do we actually know if healthcare AI is safe and, reliable?
So it's about testing the AI.
Exactly. It's a new benchmark specifically designed to see how AI models perform in realistic medical conversations. Does it give good advice? Does it know when to say, I don't know, can we actually trust it?
Like a standardized exam, but for medical AI chatbots.
That's a good way to put it. And the scale is pretty impressive. They've simulated 5,000 conversations.
5,000, wow.
Yeah, between an AI and either a patient user or a clinician. The AI's job is to give the best response to the last message in each chat.
Who designed these tests? You need real medical expertise for that, surely.
Oh, absolutely. They brought in 262 physicians. Get this, from 60 different countries.
Really? Global effort.
Totally. Speaking 49 languages, covering 26 medical specialties. These doctors were crucial. They helped create the conversations, and the scoring guides the rubric.
Rubrics? Like grading sheets.
Yeah, detailed ones. Over 48,000 unique criteria points across all the conversations, specifying what a good response should include, or maybe what it absolutely should avoid.
How do they make the 5,000 conversations feel, real?
They used a mix. Some were generated synthetically AI creating scenarios, but crucially, they also use human experts in what's called adversarial testing.
Trying to trick the AI.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to create really challenging edge case scenarios to push the AI and see how it handles complex or ambiguous situations. Covers lots of specialties and contexts.
And the grading. How does that work against these 48,000 criteria?
Each AI response gets evaluated against those specific rubric criteria written by the doctors. Each criterion has a point value based on importance.
And who does the grading? More doctors.
Actually, they use another advanced AI model, GPT 4.1, to assess if the response meets each criterion. Then it calculates an overall score against the maximum possible score for that conversation.
Interesting. Using AI to check AI.
Yeah.
I saw HealthBench focuses on 7 themes.
Yeah, they broke it down.
Yeah.
Things like communicating appropriately for the user's level of knowledge, that's expertise-tailored communication.
Makes sense.
Also, response depth. Handling emergencies, using health data correctly, understanding global health nuances, dealing with uncertainty, and, importantly, seeking more context when needed.
Those sound like critical skills for any medical interaction, human or AI.
Exactly. They cover the core things we need AI to do well.
So again, for our listeners, why is HealthBench important for them?
Well, it's all about building trust. If AI tools are going to be used in healthcare, we need ways to rigorously check they're safe and that their judgment aligns with actual doctors.
Right.
HealthBench is a step towards that. It could mean more reliable AI tools supporting doctors and maybe even better health information directly for patients down the road.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about chronic pain, a different kind of digital health application. There's research out of Australia focusing on emotion.
Yes. This is really interesting work from the University of New South Wales and Neuroscience Research Australia. They're really emphasizing how much our emotional regulation, how we handle our feelings, impacts chronic pain.
The mind-body connection, basically.
Very much so. It's about that link between emotional state and pain intensity. They're not separate things.
And they've actually developed a therapy for this, a digital one.
They have. It's called pain and emotion therapy. It's designed as a digital therapeutic, so using software to treat a condition. The idea is to help people kind of retrain their brain's emotional processing.
How's that work? Retraining the brain.
The therapy aims to help patients de-escalate negative emotions and focus more on positive ones. It's delivered online, 8 group sessions via video conference. Plus, there's a mobile app and a handbook for self-guided learning.
And they tested this. Was there a trial?
There was. They ran a trial with 89 people who live with chronic pain. The results were published in JAMA Network Open, which is a pretty respected journal.
And the findings?
Quite positive. The group that got the digital therapy showed better emotional regulation, which was the target. But importantly, they also reported, on average, a 10-point decrease in pain intensity compared to the control group.
A 10-point drop. On what scale? Is that significant?
On standard pain scales, yeah, a 10-point drop is generally considered clinically significant. It suggests a real impact.
Wow. The research also mentioned the link between chronic pain and mental health issues like depression and anxiety.
Yes, and that's a crucial part of this. They highlighted that up to 80% of people with chronic pain also deal with depression or anxiety.
8 out of 10, that's staggering.
It is, and their suicide risk is 2 to 3 times higher. It just hammers home why tackling the emotional side is so vital.
So this digital therapy could be a really important tool. Are they doing more research?
They are. They've got funding for a much larger clinical trial set to start in 2026, so more evidence is coming.
It's great to see digital tools moving into actual therapy delivery, not just tracking. Did they mention other tech in pain management?
Briefly, yeah. It shows this is a growing field. They mentioned NEC Corporation's AI tool that analyzes movement to understand lower back pain causes, and applied VR system Relieve VR.
Oh, yeah, the VR one.
Yeah.
That got FDA approval, didn't it?
That's right, for chronic lower back pain. So different technologies are being explored.
So for anyone listening who deals with chronic pain, what's the message here?
I think it's one of hope. This research and these kinds of digital therapies show that addressing the emotional component is really important and potentially very effective, and digital tools can make these therapies more accessible.
Definitely promising. Okay, one last big development, a major collaboration. Oracle Health, Cleveland Clinic, and G42 from the UAE.
Yeah, this is a powerhouse trio teaming up.
What are they aiming to do together?
They're co-developing a big AI platform specifically for healthcare delivery and life sciences innovation.
Okay, AI platform sounds ambitious. What does that actually mean?
Well, the goal seems twofold. One, Enable better clinical applications right at the point of care, helping doctors make decisions. 2, streamline innovation in life sciences, like drug development.
And each partner brings something different to the table.
Exactly. It's built heavily on Oracle tech, their cloud infrastructure, AI platform, health apps. Cleveland Clinic provides the deep clinical expertise, how healthcare actually works on the ground.
And G42, they're a major tech group in the UAE, right?
Correct. They bring expertise in integrating health data, building clinical AI models, and the underlying AI infrastructure needed to run it all.
They mentioned focusing initially on the US and the UAE. Why those two?
Starting there probably lets them navigate 2 major but different healthcare landscapes and regulatory systems. But the platform is designed to be scalable globally.
What are the potential benefits they're talking about?
Things like identifying disease factors across large populations, using data analysis and prediction to improve patient outcomes and financial outcomes for health systems. Big picture stuff.
And bridging the gap between clinical care and research.
That seems key. They want the platform to help identify and recruit patients for clinical trials more easily, right when they're seeing their doctor.
Oh, interesting. Integrated trials.
Yeah. And then also allow researchers to easily monitor how therapies are performing in the real world using that same platform, looking for effectiveness and side effects.
So for the listener, how might this collaboration impact them eventually?
Down the line, this kind of platform could lead to really powerful AI tools that change healthcare delivery. Think more personalized treatments, faster diagnoses maybe, and quicker development of new therapies because research and care are more closely linked. It's aiming for a fundamental shift.
Okay, quite a tour of digital health advancements this week. A lot happening.
Definitely. We've seen moves to boost real-world evidence, major efforts to ensure AI safety, new digital approaches for managing chronic pain, and these huge collaborations building AI platforms.
It really paints a picture of rapid change.
It does. And maybe that leaves you, the listener, with something to think about. As digital health advances this quickly, what does it mean for the future of healthcare? For your own health and well-being? What possibilities open up? And what challenges do we need to navigate?
Definitely food for thought. It'll be a pleasure if you share, like, and comment on this podcast with others. And thank you.